When you're finished with your drawing, the first thing you're going to do with your printing plate is wipe it off so that the chalk isn't there. Then you're going to make sure you go over all of your major lines with a 5B or a 6B pencil. That makes sure that you have a lot of lead that you can go through and put onto your picture so that it transfers to your printing plate. When you've traced over your major lines with the 6B pencil, you're going to flip your drawing over on top of your printing plate, and then you're going to start to transfer it. Now you're going to use a medium amount of pressure. The goal is to transfer the graphite from your paper onto your printing plate. So you want to make sure that you're peeling up your paper and checking it while holding it in the same place so that you can make sure that the whole image transfers without it moving. Once most of your ink is transferred, you're going to then take a permanent marker and trace over all of those major lines with your permanent marker. This is the step where you want to get in all of the details, all of the texture that you want into your printing plate. And the reason why is because you need to know exactly what you're carving and what you're leaving when you go to actually carve out your printing plate. So everything you need transferred in your image, you want to make sure is in permanent marker. You can see in the example that I'm even tracing the direction of the hair because I want to remember which direction I need to carve. I'm looking at my reference image a lot to make sure that all of my lines and the direction and the length of them match the lines on my reference image so that they are the same on my printing plate when I go to carve. When I start carving my block, I want to have a bunch of different blades ready so that I have them when I need them. And then I'm going to get my gouge ready by screwing it in. To insert the gouge blade into the handle, you're going to unscrew it, but not all the way, and then you're going to take the curved part of the blade and put it in between the curved rainbow part and the circle in the middle. That will keep your gouge blade in place and make sure it doesn't get stuck. Once you're done, you'll screw it in nice and tight, but not too tight that it gets stuck. And each gouge blade has a number that goes along with the size and the shape. I like gouge number 2 for carving out around all of my objects. I want to make sure as I'm carving to keep my non-dominant hand behind the blade so that it's not going to get cut as I carve out. When I'm ready to carve, I like to use number 2, the number 2 blade, to edge out all of my pieces. I carve slowly and I turn the printing plate as I go, and then I also change out my blades as needed. For small textures, I like to use a small blade. So I can see that all of these hairs here are very tiny, but there's a lot of them because I know that it's lighter. The more I carve out, the lighter it will be because it's going to show the paper underneath. So in all of my light spots, I'm going to do a lot of carving so that the ink will be lighter where that is. When you go to carve, not everything is as cut and dry as you think it should be. In this case, I know I want the knots of the tree to be darker, so I'm carving around them. But I'm getting a little confused, so I need to make sure that all of my carving lines are in there. In this case, I'm actually going to improvise, and I'm going to be carving in between the lines. So I'm leaving the lines solid and a little extra because I want the tree branches to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to leave more. The more of your printing plate you leave, the darker it's going to be because it has more space for ink. So you can do a little bit of improvisation where you need to, but have everything planned out first.